This is a render of the shapes we will have by the end of the tutorial. First of all, for our first shape, we need to create a squircle. So let's do a sketch. We will use conic curves like this. 0.75 is a good approximation for a squircle, so we will keep this value. Now let's add some values. Okay, great. Now we can use a circular pattern. Okay, we have our squircle. Let's move on to the surface workshop and extrude the squircle with, for example, 50 millimeters. Now we want to create the conic curve. So it is diagonally, so we must create another plane at an angle of 45 degrees. We'll first intersect the surfaces. These two lines will be our guidelines. 3-point arc. Now we want to stabilize them. And finally, for the radius, we will give 20 millimeters radius. If you find a nicer one, you can use it, but I think it gives a nice approximation. Okay. Now we can extrude it too, symmetrically on both sides. Okay, now we want to remove all the upper part and only keep this lower part. So we will first split the faces to split these 4 faces, splitted with this surface curved. Okay, now we can just select by hand and delete what we don't want. Go back to solid, weaken, and we create a 2 millimeters thickness. Now, as you can see, here we have our circle, and if we rotate it, we have our square. First of all, for the 6 shapes, we must insert into current design and rotate with an angle of 45 degrees. Okay. Now we can do a rectangular pattern of 3 and 2 of this object in these 2 directions. Okay, just to adjust it a bit. Okay, great. And here we have our circles and our squares. For the fourth shape, we insert into current design. We don't have to change anything and directly use a rectangular pattern of 2 and 2. And now we must adjust the space between them. Okay, looks nice. Here we have our 4 squares, and then here we have our 4 intersecting circles. For the inside-outside one, we must insert it 2 times. First of all, normal, and the next one will be rotated 180 degrees. Now to resize it, we must first break the link. Okay. Now we can scale it to, let's say, half. The point selected will be the point of the origin. That way we are sure it's exactly in the center. Okay. Now we want to move it to the top. This should be the correct height. And now, as you can see, here we have our square inside our circle, and here the circle inside the square. The illusion with the 2 squares intersecting on one side and 2 circles not intersecting on the other side is the most difficult one. So we'll try to do this by inserting the original shape first. We must duplicate it. So now I need to adjust the correct. Okay, well, that's perfect. Now what we want to do is to keep this part inside and still have the whole shape outside. So to do this, I'm gonna offset this face. Okay. Now I can split the body. So, well. Okay, so we must break the links. Okay. So I want to split this body by this surface. So let's do this. So now we have 2 different bodies. We have the body at the outside and the body on the inside. We must duplicate the body on the inside, appearing here, And so now we will join back these two by combining them. Okay, and now if we move this body, we will keep the previous one inside. And now we need to just put them at the right position for the illusion to be convincing. Okay, not bad. And then the other side, maybe a bit lower. Okay, not bad. So yeah, that's the point of the illusion. And then to make them standing, we must add a link between the two bodies. The original by Kokichi Sugihara. And my render in Fusion 360.